Good morning, everyone. This is Diane. I am going to work on continuing to make more ephemera with random things. So these are just for eclectic journals, no theme in mind, just having fun with supplies that I have, which is one of my favorite things to do. Yesterday we made ephemera with maps as backgrounds. Today I said I wanted to try to go through some of my miscellaneous pages. So this pouch contains miscellaneous book pages. So I pulled a few things out to think about, but I just wanted to kind of show you what kind of pages are in my miscellaneous. So just some text and these children's encyclopedia pages. They could go in the children's book pages pouch, but I have two pouches of children's book pages and they're packed. So these go in here now. Some doll clothes patterns, a bird paperback vintage book. This is instructions from a craft kit. I think it was an embroidery kit. So these make really fun pages in journals. These vintage type pages, patterns for doll clothes. These are from an almanac and a book about music boxes and these like that. I love these pages. This was from a little calendar book. So just things like that. These are from catalogs. I might want to, like vintage catalogs. I might want to do something with that today. And decorator magazines, or actually it's not a magazine, is it? It's a book page about home plans. Those are really fun too. Let me get that out. Maybe do something with that. I don't know. This was from a jewelry catalog from Tiffany's. Don't know if I'll do anything with that, but look at the possibilities. I love the Tiffany blue color. Okay, but they would make great folded pages in a journal too. So these are from vintage. I think it's a S&H green stamp. No, this one wasn't. I do have pages. This might have been from an Ethan Allen furniture catalog. But I do have an S&H green stamp catalog too. I think that's what this is. So yeah, just a variety of pages that don't fit into any of my other categories. Sometimes I'll put in the end pages from books in here. So I could use those as backgrounds. And these, I was looking at paint chips at Lowe's and I grabbed one of these. It's very, very shiny, but that could be a page in, just an eclectic book. So you get the idea of what kind of pages I put into my miscellaneous. Basically, it's anything that doesn't fit into my other categories. So, one thing I was doing a little playing around. Some of these I pulled out because I would like to use them as a whole page. So I might put these. These were from a vintage theater book, advertising, and I think it had like the playbill inside it. But I might want to use those as pages in the books. Let's see. I folded this because I was thinking, let's make a booklet with it. Because this is just text. I'm going to be meeting my daughter for lunch in an hour and a half. So I want to, get a video done. I want to get my videos made early in the day because it's been taking me forever to get videos uploaded on my phone lately. So that can be a book, and I can put some pages inside. Get some pages out of here. Those are sticky note pages. These are vintage lined papers. Actually, let me see. Yeah, let's just cut that in half and then I'll have 2 pages. Perfect. Here's a nice big one. It's going to be sideways. And let's put some pretty paper in there too. I'll do one more pretty page, then we're going to decorate the outside. That corner is folded down. I'm just going to leave it that way. Okay, so we have enough pages in this little booklet, and some of them stick out a tiny bit, and I don't care. I'm going to leave it that way. Well, maybe I could use... let's see, I could use, yeah, something from these other pages. So I have this from the Children's Encyclopedia. It would be cute to use just some of those on there. Let's do that. And I have some of these strips that I cut off the maps yesterday. I haven't used any of my green stamps yet. Well, for these current projects that I'm doing. So let's get some green stamps. I think I have some skinny ones. These are little. I'll do a bundle of them. Yeah. And one of these toy coins. What fun. So what I will do is I'm going to glue this in the center part to hold it in place, and I will sew around it with black thread. And I'll probably just glue these pieces on top of it. And then I will sew the pages in. Well, that was a pretty quick project, and I have this fun booklet. And I know I have more pages, even if they're not in this packet. I have plain book pages that I can make a few more. But let's move on to something else right now. An envelope. So I took this that is just text page, and it's foldable. It doesn't crack when it folds. So I'm just going to make an envelope out of it. Actually, I'm going to refold that. Maybe I'll make two little ones. Let's see, this is about 8 inches. These are the easy kind of envelopes where I'll just stitch up the sides instead of making things to fold in. These are fun to do, to just do something quick and easy. So let's see, I was thinking about maybe using some of the elements out of this S&H Green Stamp catalog. I like that colorful one. Tablecloth one is pretty. It's a little bigger than the other. That works. And I want something to hold the flap down that doesn't take up too much of the space of the design. I don't want to cover up too much of the picture. That's what I'm trying to say. That would be cute. And something on the flap that won't detract too much from that. Maybe just scrapbook paper, or these are from an S&H green stamp book, so why not use green stamps? That would be awesome. Perfect. Okay, we got ourselves a plan here. I do want to sew around these, and I put glue too close to the edge, so I'm going to have to let it dry because I wasn't thinking. So I'm just going to glue this down, and then I'm going to set these aside, and after they dry I will sew. So I'm just going to put glue at the bottom, not too far up, and then lay this down where I want it to be, just enough to catch the flap. Okay, and then let that dry too. All right. So let those dry, and let's look at something else. I think these these pages will just be awesome in a book. I love those. I'm going to set them over here with my possible pages, but I know I'm getting too many pages, more than I can use. I thought this would be a good one to cut up and use. It would also be a good book page because it's divided right in the middle. So some of them are really hard to decide if you want to cut them up or just use them as a book page. This is from a book I got years ago at the thrift store, a Jeopardy book, and there were questions, and but these were the blank things to fill in answers. I don't really know. I don't remember. But I thought they'd be good for journaling spots, so I could use them as ephemera, or they'd use both sides, fold them into a book. Again, I just don't know. I'm being wishy-washy. Here's something I wanted to do. I saw these, and I don't mind losing the back. So I'm going to cut these. All right, now I'm going to glue these to cardstock, and, well, I'm going to find some flowers to go with them first, and then we'll glue to cardstock. So I'm just getting out my flowers. It's a digital. It'd be nice if there was something to wrap around. I think I have some that are shaped like that. I don't know what size they are. Look at that. It's a sewing machine with a water motor. It is hooked up to a faucet to run the motor. Wow. But I think that would be good for that, maybe. I didn't know this would be so hard. I like it like that. I don't know. We'll see. Some of these are cut out of books, too. And these are all too big. Maybe that is about the right size. I could make this into a tall or a top tuck spot. That could be pretty. All right, let's just get going here. I love this piece. It's a digital. And I have birds too. And butterflies. Well, this one is cardstock, so what I will do with this is glue this to cardstock first, and then attach that other piece to it. And it'll be a pocket or something like that. This one worked well with this, and this is just paper, so I can back them both with cardstock. Now I have to decide what I want to do with this one. That would be quite pretty. Yeah, I'll do that. So this one is done, and these I will have to fussy cut, but then they're done. And now I'm going to go sew these, and I'll be right back. Well, here we go. How cute are they? I love these. I want to make more. So I think that's all we're going to do today, but we did a booklet, and I will make more of these. This didn't get sewn in. That's okay. And we did 2 envelopes. Maybe I can take another picture from the catalog and make a journal card to stick inside the envelope. And they're blank on the back, so they can be glued down. Or if I decide to use them as a floating pocket, I can put something on the back. And then I'll cut these out to finish them, but I have a pocket, well, 2 pockets and a tuck spot. Really fun. And these would have to go in a wide journal, of course, unless I decide to put it in like a side pocket, and I can just tuck it in like that. But these are for bigger journals. Well, at the beginning of this video, it's been several hours since I did the first part of the video. I forgot to show you these tags that I did yesterday, so you could see them with the stitching on them, and I added the reinforcements and some fibers. So the stitching adds a nice border around, the nice black stitching. And I stitched around this decal also because it started to lift up at the edges. So I stitched all the way around it, and I even stitched across the center there because it just looked bubbly and loose there. So it did not adhere very well. It's a vintage decal, if you didn't see that video. So that's that. And I didn't do stitching around that. So I did some more. I'm trying to even remember what we did at the beginning of this video. Okay, so we have these pockets, and I think you saw them done, and these, right? Saw those done. Oh, I fussy cut them. I don't know if you saw that. I don't remember. I went to lunch with my daughter, and I don't remember how I ended the video or paused it. And then the booklet, I know you saw that. So in addition to those things today, when I was going through the S&H Green Stamp catalog, there were these pages, a couple of pages that had some shapes. So this was actually in this shape. And I thought, well, I can't let that pass by. So I just glued it to this cardstock with a grid on one side and cut it out. So that'll be a fun journaling card. And same with these. It's sports equipment, and that's not really my thing, but they were in these little fun shapes. So I made cards out of them. And I also came across a book page that had these little swatch things where the autumn crocus will give you this color. This is where some dyes come from. And the lily of the valley gives you that color, etc. So I cut those and just glued them to some patterned cardstock and stitched fabric, vintage fabric to it, and added a little lace flower. I wanted to talk to you about simplicity. I'm going to work on a tag while I talk about it. These things are very simple, as you can see. Even the collaged bits, they're very simple. And a lot of them I didn't do inking. Some of them I did. Before I get into the talk, let me show you. I had 3 more tags that I had covered with map yesterday. So I just really quickly did these collages with some Tim Holtz people. And this is Tim Holtz Ephemera. Not sure what that is. It might be Tim Holtz also. It's matte. It's not shiny like those. And these are all just ephemera pieces. I think they're all Tim Holtz. And this one is an actual vintage label. So really quick and simple tags. And if you have a tall tag and you don't know if you want to put a tab on it, like my whale tail tab, you know, you could put a hole, punch a hole and add some fibers, but if I wanted a tab, and if I think that might stick up out of the book more than I want it to, here's something fun you can do. I punched some circles with a 1 1/4 inch punch and fold it in half and just glue it there. And then you can use an eyelet, you can punch a hole, or just leave it the way it is as a little top decorative element. So that's what I'm going to do with all of these. And I had more of the cardstock pieces cut. I did a bunch of them yesterday at the beginning of yesterday's video. So I didn't want to leave any of them plain. So I'm covering some and not actually going to decorate them today. But I'll show those to you. Let me finish putting these on before I lose my pieces. So I just want to say there are a lot of videos where people are doing really, really intricate ephemera, and absolutely nothing wrong with that. They are beautiful. And I used to think I had to do really elaborate ephemera for my journals. I don't think that anymore. I've talked for a long time about making quick and simple ephemera. I don't like to spend a lot of time making it. But I'll spend more time on some things sometimes, but I really like doing quick and easy, and I think it's very effective and interesting. So to me, and I'm not criticizing at all the elaborate stuff with lots of details and lots of work. A lot of work goes into those pieces. I'm not criticizing that whatsoever, but I'm just saying for me, my eye appreciates something with more than one element to it. But I guess if it's too busy, my eye gets tired. It doesn't want to focus and see everything. It just wants to look and enjoy, you know? Does that make sense? I really, really like simple elements. Like, you know, this is pretty simple. I can see there's a map behind there and a few elements on top, and it adds interest, and I like it. And so I'm only saying this so that you don't feel like you have to spend an hour or so on a piece of ephemera that you're making, because it's very effective to just make something simple. So I still had some of these cardstock pieces cut, and I got out some wrapping paper. These two are vintage wrapping paper. This one is more vintage. And I will probably sew around them and add a reinforcement or something to the top. I think for this one, I'm going to add some lace to the top. And this one, maybe one of these, one of these circles would be effective for that. And then sew around them. And these are tissue papers that are quite pretty, and also around them too. And I could probably add an element to that, but I'm not going to do that today. I have 2 more pieces, and I thought I would use the other part of this, and I'm going to hopefully find a photograph to add to it. Oops, I want to use my stick glue stick. So I am usually able to put together an arrangement or a collage of elements, and I usually like to do 3 or 5, but usually 3, an odd number of elements on a piece. And I can usually do that pretty quickly. Sometimes it takes me longer, and you've probably witnessed that. But not everybody is as decisive as I am when I'm putting my pieces together. So don't let that hinder you also. If you think you're not good at it because you're not fast. Well, I'm just saying this is the way I am, and maybe I should take more time, really. But I just put things together and make a decision, because I don't like to spend a lot of time making ephemera and lingering on it. And like I said, sometimes it doesn't seem to go together quickly, and I play around a longer time with it. But don't let that hinder you also, because most people probably spend a little more time on collages than I do. But that's just me, Well, this is like alphabet. It's a school, well, it's not a school book. It's a children's encyclopedia set. So I was thinking a school picture. This says school days on it, actually, and it's from 1931. So it's from the same collection where I bought that, the other one that I used yesterday. This one. Oh, that says 1934, but it looks similar. And so maybe these are both 1931. So maybe 2 pictures on here. And let me cut this in a tag shape. Probably since I said I usually put them together pretty quickly, I won't be able to for this one. This is kind of ragged, so I'm just going to trim that. And I feel like I might want to put something down here. So I have these strips that I have in my stash, and I always forget to use them. Let me see if I have anything here. These might be too skinny, but this is just a paper cut-off strip. So that could just cover up the words if I wanted it to. And I think that looks better. And I even like that. goes my glue stick. I do like to do more complicated things too, but when I'm doing, like, what do you call them when you do a bunch of things? Mass make. When I do something like that, I want to do easy things so that I can actually make them en masse. Because, you know, if I'm going to make 10 things, I don't want to spend half an hour on each piece. This is a sticker, but I'm going to add glue because, and it's from K & Company, but they're kind of old, and I have tried just sticking them down as they are, but they come up. So I know I need to add glue. And I don't think I'll stitch around those. Catherine French, Windsor, New York. That's a girl. And that one doesn't have a name on it. So these kids are in this class 4 years before my parents were born. And my parents are 89. And they are both feeling their age these days. They have stayed young for so long. People couldn't believe their age because they looked much younger than they were, and they felt younger, but it's catching up with them now. Sad to see. And to make a tab at the top, it doesn't have to be a circle. It could be a rectangle. Let me show you that. I've done that before. I'm just deciding on what color I want it to be. I want a contrasting color, but there aren't. I think I'll go try to find that kind of a rusty brown color. This is more of a burgundy brown, but it's from a file folder. So I'm just going to cut it into, let's say, 2-inch. Oh, that end is not straight. Let's start with 2.5. I can trim it more if I want to. And maybe 1 inch wide. No. Let's do 1.5 inches. So it needs to go. Now I've got myself confused. Okay, this is the part. I'm gonna fold it. And then I'll cut it because I just confused myself, which is not hard to do. So that might be still too wide, but and I'll cut it 2 inches and see if we like that. Definitely needs to be shallower. Okay, so it doesn't need to be very deep, like high. And this can be wider because it's a wide tag. But then I would punch some holes in it and put some brads in it, or it's fun to, let me cap my glue. It's fun to just round the corners. This is the smaller of the arcs. You can still do the brads if you want to. Just glue it on like that, and I think I will add brads to it. But for now, I'm just going to glue it, and I'll do the brads later, because I don't know how long this video is at this point. I'm going to be doing some editing and then tacking 2 videos together. But that is a nice big tag. And I have one more piece, and I have this book page I wanted to use, which is a school workbook. I'm going to trim off the bottom so I know that that's where the margin is. Find my glue stick that rolled on the floor. I am ready to clean up this mess, put things away, and get working on the journals, the next journals. So that's why I wanted to tie up the loose ends with these cards that I cut. And they won't all be completely finished, but to the point where I can finish them up when I'm ready to use them. So I'll spend some time cleaning up in here, and tomorrow I'll be ready to get going on those journals. I already started the covers as I showed them to you. Maybe I could use a yearbook picture here. This is my folder, or my pouch of yearbook pictures from all different eras. This one's even bigger. I like the group ones too, if I could find one that was vertical. Look at this one, it's from the 1930s. That's the teacher with her chalkboard behind her. She reminds me of my music teacher in high school, and she just passed away. But that dress, that style of dress looks like hers, that hairstyle looks like hers, the earrings look like hers. And her name was Mrs. Hilfiger, and she was actually the aunt to Tommy Hilfiger, who was born in Elmira, New York, which is very close to where I live. Oh, I like this one. I like the over-the-shoulder look. If I can get it up. There we go. I like that one. I like the blue. So what I will do with this is glue her here and then sew around that and then glue it down so the stitching won't be on the other side of the tag. And I've got some more work I want to do on this, so I'm not going to do it right now. So when I come back to start the journals, I will show you all of the ephemera that I made in these last few days. Well, some of it was the end of the week, I think. That first batch that I said I couldn't find, I found it. It was in the box where I thought it was, but I don't know why I overlooked it all. Anyway, I made this in less than a week with some sessions in here. So I'll show them all to you because I'll try to get some more finishing done on some of these. So I've had fun making ephemera, and now I'm ready to actually get going on a journal. So I kind of primed my pump again, I guess. I don't know what else I'll add to this, but I bet it's going to be cool. Don't you think so? All right, I'll see you in the next video. Have a creative day. Bye.